Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 18th of April, 2025. Come at the Crusty podcast. That's right. Freedom of the press. Not today. Oh, some weird drama happening after the English debate last night. Canada's national leaders pieing for the job and press censorship. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Oh, my goodness. All that more come at the Crusty podcast. Please, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. Listener reader discretion is advised because I will swear, smoke cigarettes, and make fun of the way the system was working right now. See you in a bit.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast, a Canadian veteran's point of view on political, social, economic issues, and life. Here's Crusty.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 363 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Freedom of the press, not today. That's right. Aftermath of the debate from last night's English debate. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Hope you've all had a great time the past few days. Just a reminder too, if you like and hear your see, click like, subscribe, share this podcast, all of your social media platforms. Do not be shy, ladies and gentlemen. And this podcast is also brought to you in part by and supported by Veterans Freedom Network. That's right, Stand 2, Veterans for Freedom. And coming soon, Veterans for Freedom TV. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Crusty Canuck. Hope we've had a good time the past couple of days. I've been pretty busy at my job, work and everything like that too. Just trying to get this microphone sorted out. I don't know what it is. It's clicking or something like that. I'm hearing it in my headphones. I don't know what it is. Let me know, viewers there too, if you do hear some kind of odd audio things. However, regardless of what's happening here in the world and in Canada, okay, you can see the buffoonery coming out of the seams, ladies and gentlemen. Now I don't have any videos queued up. I've seen some of the videos at work today, some of the little blurps here and there. Certain reporters complaining. A lot of legacy media was upset. And the English debate, I think, went well. My wife and I watched it. And you can kind of maybe see a merger between Les Blocs and maybe the Conservatives for the federal election. Who knows? Because Yves Blanchette did a fantastic job. As much as I disagree with Les Blocs Québécois, Yves Blanchette did a fantastic job getting the points out to Carney about his investments, about his dealings, about his contradictions when it comes to oil, procurement, purchasing, what have you. And Pierre Poilievre did an excellent job, I think, telling Carney, no, you're wrong, untrue. He also told it to Singh too, because Singh is always riding the coattails about corporatism and billionaires and, oh my God, we need more government programs. And he also forgets too that money doesn't grow in trees in Canada. And who the hell do you think supports these programs that's supposed to help everybody? The Canadian taxpayer. And you up the taxes, programs don't get out there for everybody. Jobs go missing, money goes missing. Okay. Taxes have gone up the past few years. How many government services are out there now? How many more public employees are out there now demanding a fair wage when people have to wait for months to get a fucking passport or wait for months to get any kind of service, whether it's provincial service or federal service? Oh my goodness. What is the world coming to here, ladies and gentlemen? Just a big poop show all around. Okay. So what I'm going to do is read some articles here from Yahoo News and some other conglomerates in regards to what happened at last night's debates. Okay. Now, I can personally say, from my experience watching debates and actually being part of a political debate, okay, there's a lot of politics and mishmash and wishy-washy language that goes into it too. Now, when I did my stint back in 2021, I didn't really encounter a lot of tension other than some clown from the Green Party trying to call me a settler. And, that's just far few in between, ladies and gentlemen. I'm far from being a settler. I was born here. My parents were born here. My grandparents were born here. Okay. Now, historically and traditionally speaking, okay, there were a lot of First Nations here prior to whitey or Europeans coming across the Atlantic and doing their thing. Okay. But there's been people moving around all over the globe since the better part of the dawn of mankind. So I don't buy that settler stuff because it's some trendy social justice warrior to justify their illegitimate Marxist behavior. Okay. Anyhow, carrying on. I'm just digressing here too. So I guess the big story was too that debate went well, but however, there was no press scrum after the English debate. Now there's a big press scrum that happened during the French debate, which was excellent because they spoke in English and French too. And a lot of reporters got to have their say. And what's good about that is the simple fact that a lot of independent media that has been rising up since the better part of 2015, like Rebel News, True North News, Juno News, Western Standard, Keen Bexley, just to name a few that are out there that were on scene, listening and gathering information on the debate. It was good to see Rebel News got a chance to ask about 4 or 5 questions. That was good. That was really good. So a round of applause to you guys. Right on to you, lads and ladies. Ezra Levant did a fantastic job, as well as Alexandra Lavoie with her French. Well, she's a French Canadian, so of course she's French. Anyhow, make a long story short, they did a great job. But you're just was it Dara Humphrey too, with her inquisitive questions. So well done on them. Now I guess the CBC was up in arms about that too. And there was a video going around I did save on my Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. However, I don't have it queued up here for the episode. Needless to say, I've got some articles here for your reading pleasure that I will include in my description at the end of the episode there. So you can check it out yourself. But a lot of this just is more my assessment of what's been happening too. And there was also a comment that was put on my Facebook page. I'm not going to mention the guy's name, okay, unless he was a total dick. But he wasn't really a dick. Well, he was, but he wasn't. I'm not going to really worry about it. Anyway, he was calling me a redneck. So I'm like, really? Oh, that's right there. I'll just sit around there all day and chew my fat and slap my wife around. That's all I do. French fried potatoes? No, not quite, pal. I'm the furthest things from a redneck you'll ever imagine. I have a punk rock background, a heavy metal background. I've done music in bands. I've done some acting and some tap dancing with a few drinks under my my belt there. I've done some comedy. And I've also worked in many places. I have some background in security. I have background in farming. I have background in trucks and in cattle. So I'm further from a redneck you'd ever fucking imagine. And my point of view is just my point of view. That's exactly what it is. You can either like it and agree with it, or dislike it, not agree with it, or dislike it and agree with it. Either way, choice is yours. You have the freedom to do that. You have the freedom to speak out against something you don't like. Welcome to democracy, fucky. That's what I like to say. Anyway, carrying on with this episode. Freedom of the press, not today. So they didn't have a press scrum, right? They were afraid of a press scrum because of certain animosities. Anyway, I'll read in this article here why they didn't have a press scrum. Now, there's footage out there of Ezra Levant confronting certain legacy media individuals, and they keep putting the blame on him like it was all his fault, right? And it goes to prove, too, that there's still a bunch of people out there in the media, in the bureaucracy, and the administration of our lives that refuse to take responsibility for their shit, right? Kind of like the ex-girlfriend you catch sleeping with your friend. That kind of unaccountability. You know what I mean? Oh, shit. Here it comes. Anyhow, make a long story short, it was basically just a bunch of bullshit. A bunch of whiny, entitled legacy media moguls that do get paid government money, which means taxpayer money, to promote whatever propaganda they desire. Now I'll just cue up the article here right after this little message from the Crusty Canuck podcast. See you in a bit.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, episode 363, Freedom of the Press, not today. And a special thank you out there to my friend Paul from Radio Reaction for making these cards for me. Thank you very much, Paul. You wonderful lad. Anyway, cheers. Take care. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Anyhow, carrying on with this episode. So, Freedom of the Press, not today. So, there was no scrum. There was no questions after the English debate. And you'd think they'd be on that kind of like a fat kid and a Kit Kat, right? They'd be all over that. The legacy media and everything too. Now, I guess their logic is they're blaming Ezra Levant and other independent media moguls, up and comers, from stopping them from getting questions. When the reality is that when you can see and listen to Michael Cormier, the honcho in charge of it all, he was scared. Interesting. Scared, eh? Scared of what? People getting some facts out, people getting questions out, people answering questions, hearing words they don't want to hear. Oh my God, what's the world coming to? But I'll just cue up the article here for you, ladies and gentlemen. Post-debate canceled after clash between reporters and a right-wing media group. See, they don't even have the courtesy of calling him Rebel News. It's just some right-wing media group. How dare you present yourself here? Oh, heaven forbid if we have freedom of the press in the country, even though it's in our fucking constitution. But, I digress here. I'll just read along here. And there's a little video goes with it too, ladies and gentlemen. So what I will do is I'll cue this video up for you too. You can watch it at your leisure. All right, I'll just pause it here. And I'll read along too. Okay. So it's just it's your typical poop show, ladies and gentlemen. Just a typical poop show. So, all right, I'll play this along. Make sure the video is queued up. There we go. Okay, here we are. And you guys just have a great time listening. Okay, so post-debate Q&A session between journalists and party leaders was canceled Thursday night following heated exchanges between reporters and representatives of the right-wing media group Rebel News. Yeah, so they had an argument. Really? Oh, my God. What a poop show. What a poop show, right?
It's okay for you to hate Rebel News or hate our ideas.
I don't hate you, Ezra.
We can hear it.
You caused an incident.
Like I said, I'll put this in my...
Well, you can say it's not true all you want. You can say I'm
Where-
lying
where-
all you
what's
want.
your source?
You caused an incident. There was a huge incident at the front of this room, which everyone here saw. You got yelled at to get out of the way.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
This is 100% your fault. You caused this, Ezra. And I hold you accountable. And everybody in this room knows what happened. Everybody saw the incident you caused, Mr. Ezra.
Yeah, the incident he caused. What did he cause? I know he engaged in a conversation with some freaky-haired, bearded guy. Oh, had a bit of a lisp on him, but, I'm not judging. But, that's part of it. So I'll just read along this article, ladies and gentlemen. A planned question and answer session between journalists and party leaders scheduled to take place after Thursday's English language debate was canceled. The decision by the Head Leaders Debates Commission followed heated exchanges between reporters and representatives of the right-wing media group, Rebel News. They make them sound like they're some kind of terrorist organization, right? Interesting enough, This is an article, too, from the National Post. Like I said, I'll include my description, ladies and gentlemen. Party leaders didn't take media questions after the English debate. Here's why. Thank you, Catherine Levesque, for doing that, right? Ottawa, in a surprise move, a leaders' debate commissioner abruptly canceled the media availabilities that were set to happen with each leader after the English language debate. The decision was officially announced after the debate by the commissioner's executive director, Michael Cormier, after an earlier verbal altercation between employees of some right-wing media outlets and some journalists who were present to cover Thursday evening's English language face-off in Montreal. Quote unquote, I'm sorry to announce there will be no scrum tonight with the leaders because we don't feel that we can actually guarantee a proper environment for this activity, said Cormier, who repeated this statement in French. The head of the taxpayer-funded organization did not take any questions. Interesting. The announcement came amid rising tension between various journalists and right-wing outlet members, particularly Rebel News. Yes, the sudden decision was the third such last-minute changes announced by the commission in 48 hours on the eve of Wednesday's French debate. The commission suddenly decided to start it 2 hours earlier because the 8 p.m. time conflicted with a key Montreal Canadiens game. On the morning of a face-off, it decided to boot Green Party co-leader Jonathan Pedinol for failing to have the requisite number of candidates to be eligible. Part of the commission's mandate is to make debates more predictable, reliable, and stable element of federal election campaigns. It was set up by Trudeau Liberals in 2018. Ding, 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 ding. There you go. Eliminating individual leaders' election debates that had been traditionally hosted by media outlets. Oh, my God. Commission head Michael Cormier spent most of Thursday evening explaining how Rebel News was granted more questions than most mainstream outlets during the media availabilities after Wednesday evening's French language debate. The Leaders Debates Commission agreed to bypass its general rule of granting only one media pass per organization after Rebel News threatened to sue the commission. Okay, well, what I'll do, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave this article in the description for you to read along to. Okay, but we all remember when Rebel Media had to sue to get their chances to go to federal politics. Okay, as far as I'm concerned in this country, it doesn't matter if it's a parliamentary system or if you live in a republic or if you live here. If it's democratic, the press has every right to be there. Doesn't matter if you agree with this paper or agree with that channel or agree with this channel or this rag or that rag. The press is just as paramount. Freedom of the press is just as paramount as freedom of speech, freedom of expression, right? Just as paramount. And what annoys me the most, too, is it always takes a bureaucrat or a politician to tell bureaucrat, oh, we don't want them here. We don't want this here. Oh, I won't answer you because you do this, or you won't answer you because you do that. See, that's what annoys me about these leaders in this country. They think their shit don't stink. Really. They think their shit don't stink and they're above things, okay? Doesn't matter if it's a national newspaper or a national magazine or a national TV magazine or any television station or any up and coming or any dominant internet service. There is no reason for these politicians to deny access to a Scrum. There is no reason for anybody to deny access to any political press Scrum whatsoever. Look how many people fawn and get all mad and get scared and get all so happy when you watch something like the Oscars or the Junos here in Canada or the Grammy Awards, okay, or any politician or dignitary visits a politician or any superstar or celebrity visits this or visit that. The fucking press is all over it. But now we're having an election coming up in 2 weeks. Get out there and vote, people. And the majority of Canadians who speak English did not get their chance. Did not get their chance to enjoy a media Scrum. I don't blame Rebel Media. I don't really blame any one news group. I blame the legacy media, however, and I do blame Marco Cormier for lack of balls. And I blame the politicians and the advisors of said politicians for lack of balls. However, as far as I'm concerned, Polyev and Yves Blanchette kept Mr. Carney on his toes and basically told Fido, Mr. Yagmeet Singh, to shut the fuck up. But needless to say, there's still no balls. And we got to do better, folks. We really got to do better.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freedom of the Press. Not Today, episode 363 of the Crusty Canuck podcast. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. If you like to hear what you see, ladies and gentlemen, click like, subscribe, share this content all over social media platforms. Do not be shy. And I don't care where you are in the world, wherever you're viewing, please weigh in. Let me know who you are. Like, just give me your name or your screen name. Say, hi, so-and-so, checking in from here. Hey, how you doing? Great show. Hey, terrible show. Checking in from here. I don't mind. I just want to get a consensus how many people are watching because I'm looking at my stats, my Podbean. That's my podcast host page. I'm getting more viewers from Europe, especially wonderful Britain. Thank you, my British friends. Thank you very much. Round of applause. I'm getting some more from Germany, France, Sweden. I've got a few more from Australia. Thank you very much to my European friends, my new Australian friends. Thank you, whoever was watching the podcast. By all means, keep watching, keep subscribing, give me some comments, thumbs up, all that good stuff too. Much appreciated. Anyway, carrying on with this episode too. So we got more here, or I have more here, okay, about the whole Rebel Media thing. And this is from yesterday. It's from Terry Newman. It's just an opinion here. I'll read part of it. And like I say, I'll leave this in my description, kids, and you guys can judge at your leisure here. You know what I mean? This is just, it's getting ridiculous how many people think that one news outlet is better than the other, or how many news outlets are terrible or evil. And it's not. It's, if you like this democracy, enjoy freedom of the press. No one's saying you have to tune in or watch or buy a paper or buy this article or tune in here. You still have a choice. We've had a choice to understand that for many a year. But people still don't get it because their feelings get hurt, I guess. I don't know. Oh, my goodness, what are we going to do? But I'll talk more about the debate commission here, too. Right? So, opinion from the National Post. Terry Newman, debate commission loses to Rebel News again. Right? So, shortly after 8 p.m., I read this. The reason given to reporters, the Leaders Debate Commission's executive director, Michael Cormier, we don't feel we can actually guarantee a proper environment for this activity. Okay, which is a joke. They were scared. Okay. While it's not commission's job to officially, it's not mentioned in their mandate post-leadership debate scrums, a gathering of journalists around a politician ask questions to obtain quotes are standard practice. We've seen it before. It's nothing new. Okay. And it's suggested under the media accreditation section of their site that it will occur, and a scrum did occur the night before, after the French leadership debate, as well as after the both English and French debates in 2019 and 2021. If, as the commission points out, debates are important for reasons of public interest, then so too are scrums. So you have your burger, you have your fries. Shit simple. Okay. They're an opportunity for reporters to ask questions which may not have been asked or sufficiently answered during the debate. Hearing these answers can help Canadians decide how to vote. Exactly. This scrum was especially important given that it's particularly difficult this election campaign to get answers from Liberal leader Mark Carney, who's paused his campaign a number of times. Interesting. Leading to both Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and Bloc Québécois leader Yves-François Blanchet to accuse of him of hiding. You cannot hide during a scrum, right? I don't think anyone really believes that the scrums were canceled because the commission was able to secure a proper environment. They had 24 hours to do so after a chaotic scrum the night before. What changed? Why do you only find out after 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that the scrums were not going to occur? Carney unfortunately did not explain, right? So, Global News' Mercedes Stevenson tweeted that a source with a direct knowledge says the Debates Commission decision to cancel the scrums were not being able to guarantee proper environment. Like, can't guarantee the proper environment. Work. Well, I can't guarantee the proper. What do you mean you can't guarantee the proper environment? There's no place for them to sit, to go, to have a coffee, shoot the shit. What is this? Right? Fuck. My God. Some people's kids, I tell you. Right? Not being able to be able to guarantee that proper environment was related to including Rebel staff trying to interrupt Get on the air during a CBC broadcast that was live earlier tonight. I don't see them forcing their way on someone else's stream or someone else's broadcast. So that's bullshit. No video evidence has been provided, and the source of this claim has not been verified by the National Post. So someone's bullshitting there. They just don't want to see little guys get up and get the hard questions in there, because the CBC, CTV, and Global have got no balls, okay? There's a good chance the leaders debate the commission canceled the scrums because after French debate the night before, they received backlash from traditional journalists and outlets for the decision to accredit several alternative media journalists, and really had no way of suddenly disallow them from participating in the second night of the English debate. Well, you shouldn't be disallowing anybody freedom of the press. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this article in the description for you. You guys can read it at your leisure. Okay, you're not stupid. You're not morons. You're wonderful people out there. And we're seeing the desperation, okay? We're seeing the desperation when it comes to these media outlets, when it comes to this election. Now, according to the recent poll, the Liberals are up another few percent. So they're 48% over, I think, the Conservatives 42%. Or is it 40%? I'm not sure, because I don't really trust these polls anymore, because every major poll out there has received government money, which is the taxpayer's dollar, ever since Christ was a cowboy. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, get out there and vote. Get out and vote. Stop worrying about what people are going to think. What do you think? What does the Canadian individual think? Okay. What does a Canadian individual think when it comes to the cost of living? When it comes to the immigration policies, when it comes to crime on the streets? Bill C-75 is what the Liberals pushed. It's based on race. It's also based on culture. And it's based on what's convenient in the name of wokeism. It's not based on criminals doing bad things and being locked away. It's based on some half-assed rehabilitation model that failed. Okay? Think about gun owners in this country. I own guns. I'm a gun owner. I would like to hunt sometime, but I have to find another hunter validation course to understand gun safety. Even though I only carried a rifle for 20 years, what the hell do I know, eh? Holy shit, what's the world coming to? But I think you see my point, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to be good for you and your family? What's going to be good for you if you're single? What's going to be good for you and your wife, for you and your husband? What is going to be good for you in the long run? What's going to help you? The government shouldn't be there to help you. The government should be there to govern. Not tell you what to do with your money, not what to spend, what to feel guilty for, what to love, what to hate. You decide that. You as an individual decide that, ladies and gentlemen. Government has no place in your heart. If you love the government, okay, great. You let them in your heart. Got the joy, 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 down in my heart. You know, we all know the song Todd and Rod from The Simpsons, right? Anyhow, I'm digressing here. It's tough to say because I am not going to tell you, the Canadian people, or anybody out there watching this show, who to vote for. In American politics, vote for the better person. Canadian politics, vote for the better person. British, German, French, Australian, all around the globe, you vote for the better person who you think is going to represent you properly. That's the idea of the governance, isn't it? Unfortunately, our system is set up where the first past the post wins still. There's supposed to be reform on that since 2015. Funny how that never happened, eh? What a coincidence. And still, we got to put up with this dog's breakfast of what they call leadership. Right? So you see how frustrated people are getting. Now, let's say hypothetically, let's say the Carney government does get in. Okay, the Carney government gets in by, let's say, a landslide or by the skin of their teeth. What do you think is going to happen to the Canadian taxpayer after that? Carbon tax is going to go up, of course, because they just paused it for the sake of the election. They're not doing it for any favors for us, for you or I or anybody else for that matter. They just did to win points. Okay. How many points has Mark Carney taken from Poilievre's campaign in regards to housing, national defense, okay, trade relations, immigration policies? Ladies and gentlemen, I highly suggest you look up the Century Initiative. It's basically just a bunch of rich people trying to promote the idea of making sure we have 100 million people in Canada by 2100. Interesting idea, eh? Makes you think, though. Now, if they want 100 million people living in this country by that year, by the next century, I guess the climate issue is null and void then, isn't it? Yeah. You would think, because if we're so worried about the environment, then why are we bringing 100 million people to Canada by that year 2100? Now, all of us are going to be dead by then. I'm not too worried about that. We're all going to be dead. Who gives a shit for now? But if they have people trying to promote this initiative, then it's obvious that the climate thing is a joke. Huh? Really? Because all these activists and all these Greenpeace aficionados are saying it's because of people. Well, if it's because of people, why do you want to load people in this country and not that country? Or create more here rather than there? Interesting concept, right? So we're being bullshitted again. So when we vote, ladies and gentlemen, let us vote with our heads. Like I've said the last few episodes, heads. What's going to benefit you and your family? What's going to benefit your livelihood? Are we going to have to pay more taxes? Well, under the Carney regime, yeah. It's no different than the Trudeau regime. It's the same principle as you stick a fork in a socket. Okay, what's going to happen? You get a shock. The only thing different than the Carney government is that you're using a different fork. You're going to get the same result. That's it. How else do you say it? How else do you promote it? How else do you do it? So to my Ontario listeners, my Quebec listeners, and especially my East Coast listeners, really think about what the Liberal brand has done to this country. What has the Liberal brand done to this country? Have they been beneficial? Oh, they can talk a great game, but do they really lace up and get into the corners? Do they forecheck properly? Do they kill the penalty? No, they add more penalties. And who has to serve in the box? You and I. That's the Liberal mandate, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. Okay? Like I said, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but we got to look at it plain and simple and do what's going to be right for you and your families, you and your loved ones, you and your livelihood. The Carney brand will not do it. The Trudeau brand never did it. How they used to say we're going to help the people struggling to get the middle class and get there. At what price? The middle class is struggling as we speak. How are they going to fare when Carney gets in? Like I said, if he gets in, people going to be happy? No. I can guarantee there's going to be a little more fight in people. And I can just envision that there'll be a second convoy. And it won't be as nice. That's just me, though. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 18th of April, 2025. I wish good things for you all out there. Don't be shy. Thank you once again to my viewers from San Diego. There's 2 of them down there. Thank you very much. You weighed in. Thank you. Appreciate it. You said don't mention your name, so I won't. But thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I have some people from Missouri. Once again, thank you, Chuck and Karen. out of Jefferson City, Missouri. Thank you very much. Round of applause for all you wonderful people who have watched the show and downloaded. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who's just tuned in. And thank you to all the people who keep me the warm comments and all that too. If you want to contact me, my contact information is in the description there too. My email and my mailing address. So send me some stuff, send me some swagger. I don't mind. Right? I do have a shop link there. I don't know if it's still working or not. I might be changing shops sometime in the future, ladies and gentlemen. I just got to formulate a proper plan to do so. But anyhow, if you feel like donating, you can donate. Links are there in the bottom. However, this show will still be free. But, want to donate a bit? The more the merrier, ladies and gentlemen. Much appreciated. Like I said, I've been Crusty Canuck on this 18th of April, 2025. Wish good things for you too. Vote with your heads, not your hearts, but love your country with your hearts and love your family with your hearts. Do what you can to help you out in these trying times. Do not be shy. Go the extra mile if you need to, or just take it easy, one or the other. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and we shall overcome this manufactured darkness with our lights shining bright. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthless.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Oh, tax me. Tax me. Tax me harder. More taxes. More taxes.